Hey girl, hey, welcome back to another Christian mom journey vlog. Have you ever felt so distant from God and then you feel like everything's happening all at once, and now you're feeling like I have no rights to go to God and be like, God help me, because I've been so far away, because I haven't been calling on you, I haven't been spending time at your feet, I haven't been worshiping, I haven't been going to church, I haven't been in your word. Well, baby, I'm right there with you. Okay, this week has been a tough week for me. If you guys have been following me long enough, you guys know back in November or probably October, around that time, one of those vlogs, I talked about how I learned the hard way that there is sugar that is in breast milk, and no one shared this information with me. And because I was exclusively feeding my daughter breast milk, right, because she wasn't drinking nothing else at that time, because she was like 9 months old. No, she was like a little bit over 9 months. She was like a year and some change. And I didn't know that you're supposed to brush your teeth right after or give them water. So no one gave me this information, okay? Then someone should have called me. Someone should have told me. Someone should put it on a billboard. But no one did. That being said, I took her to the dentist very first time. And I said the very first mistake I did was not take her at 6 months when she got that first tooth, because I'm like, what's going to happen to that tooth? Well, apparently a lot. Because over time, what happens is when she drinks milk, because she's breastfed, right? And I didn't give her any type of, like, I wasn't brushing her one tooth, two tooth. I just didn't see the point, right? But what happened at the end of this whole cycle of me just not doing nothing was all the milk was being collected in the back of her mouth while she's sleeping. And then she falls asleep, her mouth is closed, so the milk is still there, and it ends up spreading from the bottom all the way to the back to the front. And same thing, it'll go from the top to the front, but first it'll go to the bottom. Excuse me. So when she went there, she ended up having cavities. I felt like such a bad mom, right? So I'm just catching you up just in case you're new here. So my name is Christy, and girl, go ahead and brush your teeth and take your daughter or your son to the dentist right away when that first tooth pops up. Don't be me, okay? If you're returning, then you know the story. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just rerun what was said. They told me I had 3 options from my daughter, because at this point they can't, there's only so much they can do. One, it was leave it alone. They'll come back in 6 months. It'll probably progress, and that's not gonna be a good thing. And then we're gonna deal with it then, because she was still so young. And then the second option was they'll put some type of liquid. It'll turn her cavities, because it looked like yellow, or it wasn't yellow, but it was discolored. So if they were to put that type of liquid on it, it would be gray, or else turn it black. And my man was like, my daughter is not gonna have that for her, because it would just stay like that until her tooth fell off, but it would just stop the cavity from progressing. And my husband, if you guys know him, he's all about aesthetics. He said, my daughter will never. And then the third option was a little bit more I wouldn't, look, not a lot of parents would opt for this one, but my husband and I thought about it, and I guess what the option was, they would have to sedate her. But because she's so young at the time, she was like a year and some change, not even 18 months at the time, maybe 15 months. And that was going to be scary for us to even think about the idea of putting her under sedation. But because she's so young, we would have to take her to a hospital just in case something happens, so they could take care of her right then and there. But they will put her down under anesthesia, and they will just put white caps, and in the back they will put like other caps. And then I don't know if you guys have been here long enough. If you're new here, you don't know, but last month my daughter slid. Oh no, I didn't tell none of y'all, even if y'all been here, my bad. So I forgot to tell y'all last vlog to recap what's been going on the last 3 weeks. Remember I was telling y'all spiritual warfare was hitting us hard? Okay, it wasn't just financially. My daughter took a hit, okay? I tell my daughter every time, don't be running on the bed, but she, toddlers, they don't listen. But she wasn't running. It was weird. I'm telling you, it was the enemy who pushed her off the bed. I stand by it. I stand by it. It was the enemy that pushed her, because she was laying on the bed at the foot of the bed, face forward, right, towards the door. But I don't know what happened where the sheets is like slid. So she went face first, planted. And I promise you, me and my husband were both there. My husband was eating something. He was eating his lunch. And I just turned around for 2 seconds to just change my bra. And I was like, dang, all because I wanted to change my bra. And then she took a hit to the floor, right? Girl, blood. I'm like, oh my God, is it your nose? No, girl, no. It was her front tooth. It chipped. Okay, my daughter's, oh my gosh, like it was this front tooth right here, chipped off, and I'm over here freaking out. She's freaking out. I'm freaking out. My husband's over here, and I'm like, I'm crying. I'm like, what are we gonna do? My husband's like, girl, like, you need to get it together. Like, she needs you right now. And he picks her up. She's screaming for over like 20 minutes. I'm freaking out. I'm crying. I'm calling my mom. I'm like, what do I do? Her tooth broke and all this stuff. But it was after I called the dentist, and I'm like crying, and I'm like, you know, she chipped her tooth. Luckily, they were able to take her within the hour. Only appointment they had was within the hour, and I was so grateful. My husband's like, take that chipped tooth, put it in cold milk, we're gonna save it. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works. But, you know, I was going through it. My husband's over here stressed. He's mad at me. He's like, girl, why wasn't you watching the baby? I'm mad at him. I was like, because I wanted to take off my bra. You guys don't understand. I need to take my bra off. I am tired, okay? So, that being said, that added to the mouth that work that needs to be done. So when they go, they're gonna put a cap on that, and hopefully it doesn't die. They say they could die, right? So they're telling me we're gonna have to keep an eye on it for the next 2 weeks. We're gonna see if it's gonna have an infection. So the way we could tell is if the tooth dies, it'll turn gray or black, and there's no saving. You gotta just pull it out. Or what's gonna end up happening is there's gonna be like a pimple on the top of her mouth, like in her gum, and that's how you know there's an infection. Tooth is still fine. Tooth is still white. I put it in a prayer chat, and I don't really put stuff in a prayer chat in my church. I put it in my prayer chat. I was like, y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to pray for my baby. Y'all need to do something. Like, you know, so over like 30 people were praying for her alone on that chat. And then I had my family, and girl, I was on it. I had all my prayer warriors on it. And then within the hour, they like, you know, let us know what that's gonna happen, and they just had to do a little bit more information. Like, they gave me a little bit more information I didn't want to know, which was when they looked at her tooth, it was so broken. You could, I guess the nerves were exposed. Okay, yeah, bad. So what they told us we had to do was apply pressure, but it will hurt, so they had to numb her. And y'all know I just went to the dentist, and they had to numb my mouth, so I already know how it feels. And if I'm scared, oh my gosh, girl. So they told us, okay, and this is not my doctor, by the way. Basically, the guy was like, can any of you guys hold her, because I'm gonna have to apply this cream, but then I'm gonna have to give her a shot. But you have to keep her still. But if you can't, let's just go ahead and strap her to the board. That sounded scary. What you mean strap my daughter to a board like she's in a psychiatric treatment or type of stuff? I was like, what is this, a state asylum? But it's not a board. It's like a regular chair that, you know, like when you're at the dentist, but it has like straps, and it kind of looks, it's netted, but it was comfortable, airflow, everything, but it's just to keep her still. And my husband's like, I could try, so let's not try. Let's just make sure we succeed. So they had to put her on that board. All right, so that 10-minute long rant was to let you know the backstory of what happened and why I'm telling you this, because this week is what they have. This is the week they've been planning, right? So they told us last year that they were doing March. They told us they're doing in March. So March 24th, it is here. Tomorrow is the day. We have to be there at 6:30. We have to get up at 5 p.m. And tomorrow is the day. And it's gonna be harder for us because they're gonna take her from our arms, and she's gonna be screaming. And that lady even told us, like, that's gonna be the hardest part for y'all. And then she asked my husband, you're gonna be there, right? Because your wife's not gonna be able to handle it, because they're gonna take her, she's gonna scream, but she's gonna be okay, because we can't be in the room when she's having that whole surgery. And I'm like, why can't I be in the room with my baby when she has surgery? Like, it's not like, even my husband was with me with my C-section. Why can't I be with my daughter when she's having, like, it's just a mouth. But anyways, long story short, they're just giving us a rundown. We have to be there early. She's the first case of the day. She can't have any food. She can't have any liquid. She can't have anything parting her mouth after midnight tonight. 5 a.m. we're waking up. 6 a.m. is the latest we gotta leave from the house, because we have to be there by 6:30. They're gonna take our baby from our arms. They're supposedly gonna put laughing gas next to her face. That's supposed to put her to sleep. Once they put her to sleep, they're gonna put an IV in her, and it just makes me so sad. Plus, they're putting like some tubes up her nose to help her breathe. It's super sad to me. So that's the warfare we've been going through. However, if you guys have been here long enough, you guys know in December I told you guys how to spiritually close out the year, and what to be praying for in the new year that you know is coming up, and things you don't know that's coming up, so you can pray and fight against the enemy and his attacks in 2026 or whatever year you're going into, depending on when you're watching this. And that's what I did. This was one of the prayers. I had my prayer team on it. I have my team on it. My team, when I say my team, I talk about my family, my mom, my sister, my husband. All of us was on it. I prayed it extensively. Like, we prayed through this. So we are not worried because God is going to be in the situation. Doesn't make it easier, no. But it's tomorrow. And that is what we are going through this week. So, and it's like hard, right, honey? It's hard.
Very hard.
Yeah. And to tie this into what I was saying in the beginning, I have been very far from God. I have not been reading my Bible. I have been praying, but not like I used to, or should be, however you want to put it. And you know, and it's just like I'm not where I was before this pregnancy symptoms came. You enter off, ma'am. Here. At least she's eating something, I guess. But God is in the midst. He is coming through in the situation, and I don't have no worries because just because I've been lacking doesn't mean that he's gonna be lacking, right? He makes up our portion, and even when we are not worthy, he is still worthy. Even when we're not faithful, he is still faithful. That is why I'm saying no matter where we are in life, God understands, sees our season, and understands that we're not doing it to hurt him purposely. He understands we're in a season where we just don't have the capacity or just have an empty cup. Okay, I have a very empty cup right now. But he is still here, and that is why I'm saying, if you're in the season and you feel like you can't go to God, run to your Father in heaven because he don't care. He really don't care. He's just waiting for you to come. And he's going to take care of the situation regardless. So that has been this week's, well, I don't want to say issue, but it's been a challenge, spiritual challenge. But I promise you, honey, I'm telling you, the devil pushed her off that darn bed last month. But it's okay. At least it happened before the surgery. You have any feelings about tomorrow?
I'm just ready for God to do what I know he's going to do and for the season to be over so we can start new.
Yes.
And your birthday's coming up in a few days, so I'm hoping all of the dental things will be done by then.
I have a dental thing too, but it's just scanning. What is it? X-rays. That's it. I don't know. But that being said, because I am turning 30 this weekend, I know, 3 decades, what the heck, I am going into a new season. That being said, on Sunday, which is not the day I'm turning 30, I will be dropping the 10 things I wish I knew in my 20s as a Christian. And that is just as a way to reflect over the last decade of me learning, growing, and experiencing with Christ. So be on the lookout for that. Other than that, I got to rant about this. Y'all know about my Sonic drink. I told y'all about it, but I'm not using the front. Look, I should be using the back camera, but I'm using the front camera. It has been a hard day, but y'all see my face, right? Look, it doesn't matter. But I showed y'all the receipt. It looked backward, but y'all could read it. If not, get somebody else who can read it backwards. But it said $2.75. I have proof. Then the second time I went there, they charged me $5. I'm like, why are you charging me $5 for the same drink? Fine, whatever. Today, they charged me $3.45 for the same drink. Soda water with 2 pumps. What is going on? A pump of sugar-free raspberry, sugar-free peach, and just real fruits, which is lemon and strawberries. That's it. Why are you giving me inconsistent pricing? It doesn't make sense. The Lord needs to intervene at the Sonic before I go and speak to the management. And I'm pregnant. I don't look like it because it's a small baby pump, but I'm not playing about my soda water. It's the only thing I can hold down. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm thinking about doing videos on Sundays. And that's like light videos, like, you know, 10 things I wish I knew in my 20s when I was as a Christian girl. And then another thing, like later on, I'll be saying the things I wish I knew as a first-time mom, the things I wish I got as a first-time mom, things like that will be on Sundays. Very small, like 10-minute, 12-minute videos just to give y'all a little, like, things that I've learned or wish I knew type of deals. And then Thursdays will be my vlogs. Am I coming to a new season? Yes. Am I biting off more than I chew? Probably, but we're going to figure this out. And I'm going back to church. I went back to church Sunday, but we'll talk about that in the next vlog. But I'm basically doing a lot now. I'll probably be serving again. So I'm trying to get back into the group. Trying to get back to my 6:30 a.m. prayer calls this week. So God is moving. Alright, so that's all for this vlog. Maybe I'll have something else to say, but that's all for today. Anything to say, honey?
May the Lord bless you and protect you. May He smile on you and be gracious to you. May He show you His favor and give you His peace. And may the best be yet to come.
Yes, our church slogan, may the best be yet to come. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later.
Hold my hands up. Give it all to you, yeah. Give it all to you, give it all to you. Give it all to you, give it all to you, yeah. Give it all to you, give it all to you, give it all to you, give it all.
Good morning, y'all. It is that day. It is 6 a.m. and we are headed over to the hospital to get her teeth fixed, right? And I have not been able to deal with this well. Mentally, I am prepared to do it, but I feel like when it happens, they're going to take her from my arms and it's going to be like this whole thing because she's going to scream and cry. And the lady even asked my husband, are you going to be there? And he's like, yeah. It's like, good, because your wife's going to need her. Need you. It's true. See, I thought of something this morning. So I woke up and I made sure I got ready. And then my daughter, she doesn't know what's going on because she's a baby, right? And this was like a word I felt like God was telling me. I woke her up. Well, I didn't really try to wake her up, but I was changing her diaper and I was getting prepped for the day because today she's not supposed to have anything parting her lips after 12. So she hasn't eaten. She's not supposed to brush her teeth. She's not supposed to do anything to prep her for what they're about to do to her. You know, I think they're going to first put laughing gas, put her to sleep and all the extra good stuff. And then they're going to take care of her teeth, and they just want to make sure there's nothing in her system. So if they need to put, you know, any type of medicines, or if something happens, they need to do anything fast, her body will take to whatever they give her. That being said, I started dressing her up warm because it's almost like 34 degrees. So because it's 34 degrees, I'm trying to get her into a warm sweats, like sweater type of deal. But they totally make her comfy because it's like pajamas, because she needs to be comfy while they're doing this, because she's already going to be uncomfortable with the fact that we're not going to be there. And as you can see, I know what's going on. She doesn't. But I needed to equip her for the day. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know what's about to come. But eventually she's going to catch on when the time comes. And that's how God is with us. God is like, hey, you're not going to see the storm coming, but I see it coming. So I'm going to start equipping you with what you need. You're going to be ready for it. You're going to be prepared for it, whether you know it or not, because I have taken care of it in the time frame that needed to be done. And then once you go into it, you'll be prepared. But you don't feel prepared because you don't know what's going on, because you have no prior knowledge. But God already prepped you and has already got you prepared, and even prepared a way for you, because my daughter didn't know about this. We knew about this since November, and we have been prepping ever since then, but she doesn't know because she's a baby. And that's how God is with us, because we're his children. He's like, I've been prepping you for like months, but you didn't know. But I knew this was coming up, and I know you're going to be taken care of. But again, we think we're not God, right? But what if something happens? That's where faith comes in. We have to have faith that God is going to take care of her or your child when they go through a situation like this. And that's why when we go through this, we have to pray, we have to fast, and we have to make sure that we put our full trust in God, because there's no one else to put trust in. So next time you're going through a type of storm or something, just remember this. God already prepared you, and he already has prepared the way. So that's my little word for today. My husband's here. We got to go, and I'll catch you guys at the hospital.
You are the answer. You are that real love. I throw my hands up. I throw my hands up. Give it all to
You're okay, Mama.
give it all to you.
Hey, Dad.
Give it all.
Hey, Dad.
Love you.
Give it all to you. Give it all to you. Give it all to you, God. Give it all to you. Give it all to you.
Oh, I hear the screams.
Give it all to you. Every hope, every plan, every dream that I've ever had.
So we dropped her off. Well, they took her from me. They said they might have to pull out their tooth in the front, the one that got chipped. So we're praying that that doesn't happen because she's supposed to keep it for like at least 5 to 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 50-50, they'll save it. And if they gotta pull it out later, fine. But if it's less than 50%, they're gonna pull it out.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, I'm sad, but we're praying and we're hoping that God will do it. It wasn't as sad when she was leaving as I thought, but I don't like that they're gonna be putting her under, putting tubes up her nose, but it's okay. The doctor made us feel very comfortable. So the procedure is done. It took about 40 minutes. We're gonna see if she had her teeth, the front tooth, taken out or not. I'm very nervous, but they're gonna take us in soon. I look crazy. It's like 8:30 in the morning. We've been here since 6:30.
God willing, our daughter gets to keep her teeth.
Every prize and treasure I found. Yeah. Every light, every smile, every tear of joy that I've cried. Without you, it means nothing at all. Yeah. Give it all to you. Give it all to you, God. I give it all to you. I give it all to you. I give it all to you. I give it all to you, God.
Hey girl, I am finally back. It has been 2 days since I vlogged, but it was really because it was just a lot. When we got home, she was under anesthesia for like 24 hours, so it wasn't going to come out of her body until then. So we couldn't really let her have any physical activities. I mean, she was screaming, girl. She was screaming when we picked her up, and she was still groggy when we put her into that car seat. So it was a long day for all of us, especially because we had to wake up so early. But now she's doing better. She is here, and she is now 100% better. It's been like 2 days since, the procedure, but girl, finally it's done. But I will say one thing, these kids under anesthesia, it's like no fun. They don't feel like themselves. They don't act like themselves. And I was like low key, like, girl, like, I need to hold you the whole time while we're driving, but I can't. So it was like one of those things. And she was like so limp. Her body was super, super, super heavy because she wasn't able to like move it. So I had to carry her. So like her whole body was just like whole weight on me. And it was really hard. But by the end, maybe like when we got home, she took a nap. We all took a nap, girl, because we were all tired. What happened? Yeah. Okay, you could go. We all had to take a nap because it was like a long morning, we had to wake up so early. So we all took a nap, and then we all woke up, and she was just fine. She was back to herself, but the doctor was like, you can't let her run around because she, falls and chips her tooth or whatever the case is. It's over. We ain't doing it again. Like, you're not going to go and put her down to sleep again. I'm like, oh, Lord. But her teeth are a lot better. They had like different sizes of teeth that they were able to give her. They're like pre-made ones, and I think there's like mold ones, but I guess they gave her like the one that was made in the lab, and they were able to save her tooth. Thank God. That's one thing we were praying about. And they were basically, when they gave her teeth, it was a bigger size. So when you see it, it looks. It took me a minute to get used to, but it's a lot better. I'm just so grateful that they saved her tooth, and she is a lot better now. It was a lot of spiritual warfare, I feel like, but I truly believe because I prayed about it into the situation, into this year, last year, and I also was fasting about it in January, and I also said to God, like, God, if this is not your will, because we had to do the pre-op on Friday last week, and I was like, okay, God, if this is not your will, you're not going to let it happen, and we're not going to be able to proceed because the pre-op is not going to go well. But it went well. The baby did have her procedure. She was the first one of the day. Everything went super good. They just said no crunchy food, no sticky food for the first 24 to 48 hours. And that's what we made sure she did not have. And now she is back to her normal self. So I'm so grateful. And all I have to say is God is truly at the center of it all. Even when you're going through it, even when you're like in the middle of mom guilt, in the middle of, just spiritual distance from God, like he's still going to be faithful. He's still going to show up. Even when you feel like you have no reason that is valid to call on him because you haven't been doing your part, like it's okay because God sees you in the season that you're in. He also understands, your heart. And I know that's kind of cliche because sometimes when we think about the heart, we're like, it's the most deceitful of them all. And it says in the Bible, but God truly knows your heart. And he knows that your heart is with him. And he's also understanding, like, sometimes a lot of the situation is hard. Like, I love watching Maya Graves on YouTube. And I really, really love her stuff. And when I be looking at that stuff, I be like, girl, I don't know how you did it pregnant. You over here cleaning. You over here working out. You over here doing everything. I cannot. And like, she was reading a Bible, but it was like later in her pregnancy while I was watching these videos anyway. So I'm hoping and praying that I'll get to that soon. But I have been worshiping more. I even went back to church this past Sunday. So that was so good too. And I could tell I'll be back to serving soon because they're asking me to serve alongside with the pastor now. And that's like a different situation. Like it's totally a new season. God is calling me higher, and I'm just sitting here like I can't just sit here and not do anything. So for the next 6 months, I will be serving as much as I can, even into like the intercession team where it's like where you're praying for others and praying for the church and just the world in general. Anyways, girl, so that is just the update of what's been taking place. God is good, and he's always going to be there for you if you are in a season where you're in spiritual dryness, stress from a child. You are not alone. And if you got to break down, just break down. The best way I'm able to find now in the recent days, my way to worship God is in the shower and just having worship music. And girl, it never fails. I always start crying. It just never fails for me because you just hear the music. But then there's also those days where you're just like, I don't want to listen to it. And that's how you know it's the enemy trying to stop you. But if you just listen to the music, you should be fine. Because once you get into that first song, now you're trying to get into the second song and the third song. But here's the thing, right? I have Spotify and I pay for that. That's cool. But when I use it on my TV, YouTube Premium like cut me off because apparently I'm not in my sister's household no more. So I'm just like, okay, because she's in Vegas, like I get it. But it's like she's paying for it and there's like a whole family plan. Why do I gotta get cut off? And now there's like 4 different ads. So when I'm in the middle of praying and worshiping and crying, it just comes on an ad and I'm just like, this just kills my vibe. Like if that's not the devil, I don't know what is. And then I have her coming to me while I'm in the middle of it and she's like, and I'm like, oh girl. So yes, the shower is it, honestly. And if you have a paid platform or streaming service, just use that before the distractions come. But anyways, girl. But anyways, thanks for sticking with me through this video. And I hope that you guys got some type of insight what it's like to have like a dental procedure, especially for a young baby such as like a 1-year-old, because she is still 1, about to be 2, and as active as ever. And now she's going to get back up. Ugh. And I hope that it gives you some type of understanding of how the process looks like and how God is still going to meet you in the middle of your spiritual dryness, as well as in the middle of your mom guilt, because he is always going to show up and he already has a victory. And all you have to do is just go through the storm, just keeping your eyes on Jesus. All right, girl. So I love you. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next week on Christian Mom Journey.
I throw my hands up.